Let's now catch up with SABC News political editor Mzwandile Mbeje. Thank you very much, Mzwandile, for joining us.
Thanks, Nambo.
So, Moloto Matapo, they're talking about so long as they're orderly points of order, they'll be taken on board. Isn't there a danger that the session from 2 o'clock is going to be dominated by people piping up for points of order rather than the president being able to actually deliver his budget vote?
Yeah, in fact, I think one of the questions that Moloto raised, Bulelane raised with Moloto, was that here is the president supposed to present his budget vote, basically telling us what is it that they're planning to do, how they're planning to go about it. But here we are, Nompo, we are more worried about what will happen. Not necessarily in terms of the delivery of services and stuff like that, but what will happen about the sitting and stuff like that? You know why we are in this situation? Because a political party has said we will not allow the president to speak. And why are they saying that? Because of the allegations or because of the theft or the robbery at the president's farm. So the fact of the matter is that this issue of the president's farm at Palapala has basically diluted just about every national discourse. So unfortunately, some of the key issues that need to be dealt with, that need to speak to the issues of poverty, unemployment, are actually being trampled upon.
And of course, and it dilutes his position. It dilutes his ability to be able to utter a word with any credibility.
Yes, absolutely.
Currently.
And you will not say those people perhaps who want to take issue with that are wrong, because it's also their constitutional responsibility to make sure they make the president account. But of course, the president, we also want to know what exactly he's doing. So clearly, what this tells us, Nombu, is that this issue needs to be dealt with as soon as possible, whichever way, because it is simply taking or distracting all of us from the core business of running the country.
Yeah. Do you think that the ANC is dealing with this expeditiously? I mean, what is that commission, that committee that deals with, ethics and all of that? What are they doing? Yes, what are they doing right now?
So right now, there was a meeting on Monday where the president basically reported to them, the NWC, to say he has voluntarily approach them to say they need to look at this. In fact, if you speak to the ANC, they will tell you that they are satisfied with the explanation they've been given by the president as to how he intends going about this. But the fact of the matter is that the ANC is the governing party. So whatever happens within the ANC affects all of us. So South Africans want to see this matter dealt with expeditiously. So that's why I'm saying, the law enforcement authorities that need to look into this, they need to do it as soon as possible, because we need finality on this matter. Otherwise, we will have a situation. We know we've been here before in terms of when the EFF, for example, decides that the president will not speak. You can't take that for granted, because we've seen what the kind of disruptions that have happened in the past. And
with former President Jacob Zuma.
With former President Jacob Zuma. Actually, even with the current one, at some point, you remember, it even took an hour for him to deliver the State of the Nation address. So clearly, what happens to the issues at hand that need to be dealt with? So that's why I'm saying, in fact, in this budget vote, I'm sure he would also use the opportunity to clarify perhaps those things will then put some of these matters to rest. Not completely, but perhaps a way forward as to what will happen.
Before I let you go, what do you infer from what suspended ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule said about the whole situation with President Ramaphosa?
Well, we are in a year where the ANC is going to elections. So, and we know that what is basically happening is that the political competition, the factions and all those things will play a bigger role. So obviously, someone like the suspended Secretary General will actually look at this and say, I sit out of my position because I'm facing charges. Well, in his instance, or in his case, he is now criminally charged. That's why he's stepping aside. So, but he would want, I think, some sort of a similar process happen to the incumbent. I'm sure that's why I said at the beginning, so if there is a case to answer for the president, I think the law enforcement agencies need to move with speed, because you need to put this thing to finality. For example, if, let's say, it were to get to the point of where it's being charged, so it's obvious what he needs to do in terms of what the ANC suggests. And then someone like Isma Khashule would speak from that point of view, but also from the bigger battles that are taking place within the ANC. Because as much as we are looking at this thing as perhaps be it a criminal matter, but there's also a bigger political situation here. Rightly or wrongly, it's a fact. We are 6 months away from the big ANC elective conference where the new president of the ANC needs to be elected.
One last thing, regardless of who is chosen as the president of the ANC in December, what does this whole stench, this whole issue around this particular situation, what does it do for the ANC's prospects in 2024?
It is not doing them any good. It is not doing them any good because you'd know that I think some of the arguments has been to say President Ramaphosa has been their best choice under the circumstances. So whether that's right or wrong, that's neither here nor there. If the person perhaps who's being viewed as the best among them is also facing similar charges or similar allegations, I wouldn't say charges yet, similar allegations, it does diminish, I guess, the standing. And also for the longest time, in fact, I'm quoting directly now from President Ramaphosa Enompo, when he was at the State Capture Commission, he said the ANC is accused number one. That is the president of the ANC. So if the president of the ANC then finds himself faced with these issues, and people are saying, so what was the president saying, given all of those things? So clearly, going forward, if this thing is not sorted out clearly and expeditiously, it will really dent somehow the chances of the ANC at the 2024. But of course, there is still a long way out. So let's first deal with what's happening in December, and then we can be able to conclusively perhaps say something.
Yeah, we eagerly wait to watch what happens at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much, political editor there here at the SABC, Mzwandile Mbeje.